Gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, right now I have the world famous Tapestry. They're a fusion metal, indie, and atmospheric, well, you know what, alternative rock, that forms a unique sound in Tapestry. They write, record, and produce their music, and they like to keep things short and sweet. And who do we got today from Tapestry?
We got Jake. Woo!
All right. You know what, Jake? Why don't you tell everybody a little about Tapestry, how it was formed, and what does the name mean to you?
Well, we originally started about just under a year ago, and we formed in an academy called ACM. I think you guys have got one out there as well in Oklahoma. But we formed about a year ago now. But we were originally looking for a male singer, and we struggled to find a male singer that was actually compatible with us. So we played for about 3-4 months by ourselves without a singer. Then we managed to find Alice, who's our current singer. So yeah, we've it's been a short ride so far, but we've got a long way to go.
Now, is this your first band, or have you been in other bands before? And how hard is it to play out in the UK where there's a lot of competition?
I've been in a few bands before, but this is probably my first real proper, a shot at the big money, if you like. But no, we're being a small band, it's such a small scenes all around the UK, because the UK is pretty small compared to the US. I'm guessing you guys have lots of big scenes and all that, but yeah, we have loads of really small scenes all over the place. So you kind of stick to one place and then play that a lot, and then move around when you can, So, but the turnouts over here can be okay depending on where you play, really. But yeah, what's it like over in the US?
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends. If you're in a big city, there's tons of places to play, such as Nashville. But if you're over here out in Knoxville or any smaller cities, or even the suburbs or the outskirts of the city, there's really not that much, because in the U.S. everybody likes to bring in mainstream bands rather than giving local people a shot.
Yeah. So are there healthy small scenes over there, or is it more of like everyone just goes to the corporate, massive sellout shows?
For the most part, everybody goes to the corporate sellout shows. I mean, there are places that a local or an indie band can play at, but they're far and few between out here, because a lot of I can't speak for the entire United States. I can speak around here. Around here, it seems like a lot of the, club owners don't get along, and, some bands don't get along. For the most part, the bands have unity, but, I mean, there's some that just don't get along, and it really, hinders everybody else.
Yeah. So is it expensive to go and see a show over there, then?
It's probably cheap compared to England. Because really? Everywhere outside the United States, everything costs an arm and a leg to do anything. So
that's very true. Yeah. How much is a beer over there then? Like a pint?
Well, I mean, beer is cheap over here. It's only like $2.50, $3, but it's actually, because everything's higher out there, I would say everything would be more expensive over there. But, some shows do run $15-$20 just to get in the show. I do know that for a fact.
Okay.
So
that's quite expensive. But that's more for like the bigger shows, right?
No, even the local shows. I mean, I've seen some local hip hop shows out here running $12 for a piece. And I would bring 5 people, and that's $60, and I'm like, I'm not paying that. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no, it's much cheaper though over here in the UK. I mean, when we play shows, it's usually around, I don't know, £5 or something like that. So that's what, it's probably about $10, $10.
Yeah. So it's about the same.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's a bit kind of the same. But that's the problem, man. These days is that we struggle to pull through the scenes, because most places these days will do it on how many people you can bring and how many people will pay on the door. So I mean, how many people are actually gonna come to pay how much, like $10 to see a band they've never heard or seen of before? You know, it's a difficult thing because these promoters put on so much money on the door that it's actually difficult to ever bring a new crowd down rather than playing to your old friends or people that have already seen you. So, you know, this is like the problem with like undergrounds over here anyway. It's that, you know, people don't want to pay too much money because when you get in, it's like it can be up to £5 or £6, £7 for a beer. You know, it's like $12 sometimes just for a pint of beer. So it can be like painful, man, playing shows, especially near London. You know.
Oh yeah. I totally understand. I've interviewed quite a few bands out there, and also it's a lot to take in too, because England automatically, from what I've heard from bands, they automatically expect quality of Ozzy and everything, and you're not going to get that everywhere. So
yeah, no, it's true. But I mean, in terms of size of venues as well, we've got very many small venues over here. I'm guessing you guys like everything big, don't you? So I'm sure you've got massive, huge halls to fill and stuff like that. Whereas we always play small, 200 to 150 people capacity venues.
Like I said, it depends. I mean, some some things are only 1 to 200 people. I mean, it depends on where you're at. I mean, if you're in a major city, you got a lot more places to play. But like I said, out here in Knoxville, when you're a local band, it's pretty tough. And I know even when I was over back in in Connecticut, out in New Haven and whatnot, it's pretty tough. And you really have to go other places rather than what you're comfortable with, because you don't have a choice in the matter.
Yeah. I can imagine, we'd love to come over to America one day, hopefully. That'd be a lovely thought to come over there and play to lots of cool people, because we think our music would suit, the American music scene. But, when you think about, touring over the UK, it's such a small little island, so when you're over here it seems big, if you're going to travel a couple 100 miles and stuff to do. We've got a 2-week tour in summer, and it seems like it might be quite long and very expensive, but when you compare it to America, man, you must be going from state to state, and it must be so hard to get all around just to do a US tour.
Yeah. So, I mean, the traffic alone is killer. Once you hit the major cities, you can sit in traffic. They don't care who you are. You sit in traffic 3 to 5 hours and they won't care. So
nice. Yeah. It's not too bad in the UK, but yeah, I can imagine it being terrible. Is it quite busy then? If you do get small shows, is it ever quite busy? Do you get random people coming down or not? Sometimes these bands do. The problem is, with the promoters, like you said, if they never heard of a band before, they're really taking a chance. They won't come. Yeah.
And on their end, they have to pay, a certain amount per band that comes in. And if they don't make the revenue, they actually have to, fork that out.
Yeah. So do you think a band like Tapestry would work in the US?
I definitely think there's a huge market. For your style of music, and it would probably be easier with the style that you played. Now, if you were a hardcore metal band or a punk rock band, it would be a lot harder.
Oh, really? Okay. I thought that'd be quite popular for America. You guys really like your heavy music scene.
Well, we do, but there is such a huge crowd that are into for instance, the Beatles, or the mellower. There's much more that rather hear mellow compared to the heavier music. It's not that there's not a heavier scene. There certainly is. There's a huge scene for it. But the majority of people are, as you already know, America is so, defined by opinions.
Yeah.
And because we're so opinionized, we only want to hear a certain type of this. And, if they don't follow our standards, well, we can't listen to them. I mean, there's just a lot of red tape.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean.
So let's get back to, Tapestry. What originally made you want to become a musician?
Oh, that's a tough question, man. Well, I mean, when I realised at school that I was pretty much terrible at everything, yeah, I didn't get my maths and stuff like that. But yeah, like I was out of the pretty much the entire school and my class, I was the only one who ever knew what I wanted to actually do. If I was going to do something that I wanted to enjoy and would consist of me putting effort into for the rest of my life, it would have to be something that I felt, very like connected to. So like when I first, my dad first showed me a Deep Purple, live Deep Purple CD, and then I was just like, that's pretty cool, And then me and my sister wanted to start a little White Stripes type band because she wanted to play drums and I wanted to play guitar, and eventually just like it kind of caught on that I wanted to play music and it was fun and I thought I had a bit of a knack for it. So that in mind, I was just like, I want to do music. When everyone else wanted to be a doctor or, they wanted to do something in science or a lawyer or whatever, and they all do it for their own comfort or like just to please their parents,
Yeah,
But
exactly.
but my parents, unfortunately for me, like backed me with whatever I wanted to do, So that's how I got into music anyway. It was just out of choice and. It's tough, man. You don't make a lot of money from it in the beginning, but if you work towards it and stuff like that, you can end up, being pretty comfortable.
Exactly. And the one thing that you have an advantage of, or any band that starts to get a big following, from another country has an advantage of. Okay, yeah, well, you've got that fan base too. Where out here in America, there's so many different bands and so many different genres that people can't, people don't latch on to that one band for the most part.
Yeah.
Unless they're, followed by a huge marketing scheme. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's the thing. Everything that gets in its place these days, if it's on Radio 1 or whatever, it's probably because it was paid to be there,
Well, yeah, a lot of things are syndicated now. I've spoken about that numerous times. You can hear the same song in across country 20 minutes that you heard on the other side.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
So
it's crazy, man.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So what's the industry out? Or what's the market out there out in England?
What do you mean?
I mean, you said you have a bunch of small clubs, but is it easy to get into perform at these clubs? Are they open to new bands? Or if your band and let's say like 3 other bands, called them and said, hey, we want to get 4 bands for this night. Is there tons of clubs that are open to that?
Most clubs are very like they'll stick to like certain special types of nights. So Thursday night will be reggae, dub and stuff like that, and some like Monday night will be metal night and stuff like that. So it depends on where you go. But obviously we live near London, so lots of nights are kind of very strict on who plays. The more underground places are like you can talk to the promoter or whoever runs the venue. But yeah, man, like lots of people like fight for gigs. It's all very. There's lots of bands over here on a very small island, and they're all just, kind of fighting for these shows and that. And everyone can snap up what they can try and find, really. So it can be difficult depending on where you want to play. If you present yourself in a professional manner to most of these people, they'll consider it if you're wanting to play on a bigger lineup when you're a smaller band, or vice versa sometimes. But it's. I don't know. It can be difficult. I've seen lots of bands struggle to get on lineups. They just want to play a show, and usually these venues will sell out to whoever can fill the venue and make them lots of money,
Well, yeah. Well, I mean especially with the small club, that's as far as a business sense, that's a smart idea.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, because I mean, you got a lot of bands that say, "Yeah, I'm it's part of my friends, but I'm the shit." But it turns out that they only have 2 people that come with them.
Yeah. But that's the thing is though, that never usually like, even though if you might have this popular band who will fill a venue and that, just because they've got loads of friends or they're popular or something doesn't necessarily mean they're good. This is the problem. You have all these like not great bands or not brilliant live or whatever, but they'll fill a venue no problems, and it's kind of like all the talented bands out there are in total opposite. They're playing to like 4 people just because they might not have that many friends. It's like Chris Cornell from Soundgarden, he was a bit of a recluse, didn't have many friends and that. And look at the talent, man. Like, look where he is now, and he was started out exactly like that, playing to empty rooms and like grabbing a gig where he can and stuff like that. So it's the difference of that, being popular and not being so popular, and having to play these shows, on a whim that someone might come out and see you.
Well, I don't know much about England, but do they yell about noise? Because if I had a band out there, I'd be playing as loud as could be, make sure everybody in the whole area would hear us.
Yeah. Well, I don't know about you guys over there, but England's recently become very health and safety orientated. So I live in an area called Guildford, and there's a venue down the road called the Boiler Room.
Okay.
And we're playing there soon with Dorje in a couple of weeks. And they recently had people in the area try to shut them down because they were playing too loud. So basically, these people moved in right next door to this music venue and then instantly started complaining, and they tried to take them to court because they were being too loud, blah, blah, blah. And then it's gotten so to the point now where the venue's so paranoid of being shut down that, like, when people go outside into the smoking area and everyone's just having a chat, like the venue owner will run out and shout at everyone to be quiet because they think they're being too quiet, when they're definitely not. So yeah, that's a big thing over here is the health and safety and the legalities of how loud you can be and stuff. So it's difficult, man, because it does affect the whole like sound area of playing live.
That's straight up BS to me, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
If you move next to a venue and you don't think they're going to be loud, come on now.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy, but I think that they're trying to implement new laws now where if you want to move into an area near a venue, then you have to go through certain types of documents to definitely confirm that you don't mind living near a venue that will play loud music. So I mean, venues are shutting down left, right, and center as it is, man. I don't know about over there, but it's really bad over here. Pubs shut down all the time, venues are shutting down, and people are struggling to find places, like decent places to play. And we don't need, like you say, this BS from people who are just like, I don't want to live next to a venue playing loud music. It's like, well, don't live there.
Exactly. Nobody told you to move here.
Exactly. Yeah. But anyway, how's it going?
So back to Tapestry. What would define your all success in 5 years if you could have everything that you wanted? Let's be realistic here, though.
Well,
not a mansion or anything, but you know what I'm saying.
All we want is just to be, we just want to get our music out there and be comfortable with, doing what we want to do, so we can play live shows and do tours and that, but be comfortable enough to carry on doing that. I think that's pretty much the goal, man, is to do something and, not have a part-time job on the side while you can still play your music and you can still write it,
Yeah, well, it's that way out here in America, though, too. There's a lot of, local bands that, have full-time jobs in addition to, doing a music thing, because they're just not, it's just not the days back of the 80s and 90s where there's, like, these rock star gods anymore. That's just not this day and age.
No, it's all about, like, DJs now, man. It's like who can press play the hardest,
Well, even with bands, you have your, 0.001%, that everybody wants to see, but outside of that, everybody's fighting, for a spot. And a lot of people are forced to go the indie route, even though they are the independent label route, even though they don't want to. It's just what they have to do. Because these labels aren't giving any money anymore. At one time, you can get millions of dollars deals. Now they, from what I'm hearing, I don't know anybody that works at a major label. so I can't
Yeah.
say 100%. But from what I'm hearing from artists and everything is based on distribution deals now. So they're not giving away $1 million like that anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's, for example, Roadrunner Records.
Correct, and they were bought out by Def Jam a while back.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we have a record label over in the UK called Roadrunner Records, and it's got like Alter Bridge and Slash and like all the big rock giants on it. Anyway, but there was this band, this small band, who I used to know. I used to know the guitarist, and there's a band called Mutiny Within. And they were pretty, they had some fun. They went on some tours with a lot of good bands like 36 Crazy Fists and Korn and stuff like that around Europe. And I think they went on tour in America as well. But anyway, so they were signed to Roadrunner Records, and they were fucking amazing, man. But they unfortunately weren't selling enough records. We live in this day and age where no one wants to buy CDs anymore. So they were in that little period where CDs were still sort of important, but they were definitely in decline, and they didn't sell enough CDs, so everyone was downloading it online and that, and eventually they just had to disband because the record label were asking for too much money from them. They kept saying, you owe us this, you owe that, and they were just in so much debt. So a good band like that can't survive because of a record label's just taking everything out of them that they're trying to give out.
Well, yeah, I mean, but you got to remember, Roadrunner was bought out by Def Jam, and things have changed since then. They were the last hope for independent, rock and metal artists. I mean, I know there's many indie labels out there, but none that were like huge like Roadrunner was. And when they were bought out, it was kind of a sign of a downfall. So
yeah. Yeah, but I mean, regarding like labels and stuff, we don't, at the moment as a band, we've all agreed that we don't really want to assign to a label yet because it's not worth it, with the size we are. And not just that, but you can probably have a healthier career if you did it all independently. You just got to find the friends and family members that will help you out and hopefully make the distance.
Exactly, and with social media today, I mean, it's a lot easier. If you know how to market, it's a lot easier to sell your stuff. If you don't know how to market, you're pretty much dead in the water in this day and age because everybody can, download everything, and that's why we do these interviews to find out about the bands, so people can pick and choose who they wanna Well, whose music do they really want to listen to? The people that they can relate to. If they can't relate to somebody, they're not going to waste their time. Why are they going to buy their CD when they can go on one of the sites and get things for free?
Exactly, yeah, that's the thing. Like, there's loads of these websites now starting to do that, where, like uTorrent and stuff like that. Like, people would just rather torrent the whole discography of a band rather than paying for anything, So that's not helping.
Well, I mean, it's not all negative. I mean, social media, while it is, doesn't work for, artists like back in the day. It does help, bands that don't have the finances, get known and, get.
Well, I mean, for the bands, it's not so great, but like the consumers, they're having a great time, man. They've got so much free music to choose from these days,
Correct. That's for now. That's not going to stay like that forever. I guarantee that. So they'll figure out some kind of laws at some point where they'll stop that altogether. I have no doubt about that. They're losing too much money, and that's what's going to happen. So so how did Tapestry meet?
Oh, well, we met in. We all go to an academy in Guildford. It's like Newton Faulkner went there, Mumford and Sons, Ed Sheeran spent some time there as well. And so we go to this academy, and we all met there. I lived in the house with my drummer Simon, and he had his mate from his old college, Tim. And he came down, and we were like, should we do something? You're like, yeah, I haven't really got a band going yet, so let's just do that. And eventually we met Alice, our lead singer, and Matt had already been at the academy for about 3 years, so he's been in a few bands. But yeah, we all came together at that to be honest. So that's where we'll practice and record stuff, Hello.
I totally understand. No, I'm hearing what you're saying, man. I'm just trying to let you speak. I mean, because there's a lot of people that like to cut off people, and I'm known for that. So lately, I've been just like sitting back, and people are like, "Hello, are you
No, it's just
there?"
'cause I'm on my computer. Bad, it might be a bad connection there.
Exactly. So, where can people find your music, and where can they hear your music other than on Two Local Radio?
Well, yeah, we're online. Like we've got some videos on YouTube. We're mainly on Facebook. That's our main social media platform. But we're a bit worried at the moment about Facebook. We think it might be in decline. So, but yeah, we've got Twitter. We've got Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, all that kind of stuff. It's pretty easy to find us online. Just Google it, and yeah. But unfortunately, we're not doing any we haven't got any EPs out yet or anything like that. We're still working on all that stuff. So at the moment, it's just an original song and a cover video and stuff like that. But we're working on all our music videos and all that at the moment.
And that's what I like. I like when bands are just starting out because on my end, I could say, well, hey, we were one of the first people to interview the band. And at the same time, it's like, you can be yourself. Whereas if you were to sign to a label, whether it's indie, major, whatever, they try to tell you what you're supposed to say. Can't say this, can't say that. And I just don't believe people should be censored like that. So.
Yeah, definitely not. But I mean, loads of bands were like that, don't they? Some bands start out doing things for the label or the people, giving what the people want or the label wants, and then you got bands who start out doing whatever they want to do, and then eventually going down the route of following the label. But either way, it's kind of like if you look at Linkin Park, they started out and there was all heavy rock, metal, and stuff, and then they just eventually went down to the route of let's be electronic bass type rock, So. I mean, we think we like to be quite diverse in the way we write music, So at the moment, we're starting out doing whatever, we just whatever sounds cool to us. We're like, yeah, we like that, And we like Alice uses lots of delay at live shows and stuff on her vocals, so we can get quite a nice psychedelic aspect, but with lots of energy. But one day we'll probably do some, something different, a bit, out of the ordinary.
Exactly, and we just want to, I just want to wish you all the best and everything, and you have great music and you got a very bright, future ahead of y'all. But it is a fight. I mean, and then when you were talking about, that social media outlet. I don't really like to mention her name. I'm kind of a, conspiracy, person to begin with. So
that's cool. That's cool, man. We have a lot of common then.
But because we have a show called Tinfoil Hat, which you should check out sometime. Talks about stuff like that. But I'm in over 320 groups, and I'm not kidding you. And I'm lucky if 30 people see it. Posting in all the groups. It's because everybody nowadays uses auto posters, so nobody's actually in these groups.
Yeah, it's true.
So, I mean, it's just crazy. All right, man, but is there anything you want to get out there, or any shows you got coming up you want to get out there, for the people that follow us from the UK?
Yeah, well, if you've got some listeners, we've got a 2-week tour coming up at the end of June. We'll be going all over the place, as far as Scotland and Wales and possibly Ireland for a festival. We've also got a show in a few weeks. We're supporting Dorje. I don't know if you've heard them, but you should definitely check them out. They're really cool. And that's pretty much it, man. We've got some EPs coming out soon, some music videos, all that kind of stuff. It'd be a while, but yeah, if everyone just goes online, finds us on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, follows us up, and we like to keep our social media pretty busy, so keep everyone always involved, Well, but man, just pretty much that, and thanks for us on, man.
Not a problem whatsoever. I do want to let you know, Mr. Jake, that. Just because the interview's over doesn't mean we throw you out the window like most radio stations. Just keep on sending us music, and we'll keep on playing it. That's how we work.
Awesome, man. Sweet.
All right, man. Well, you have yourself a wonderful weekend, man. You take care.
You too, dude.
All right. Take care.
Peace.
All right. That was Jake from Tapestry. They're a unknown band out of England, an alternative rock band, but they've got some really great tunes, and they're working on a lot of things. And what I like is the fact that guy's honest, and we could talk, the industry and, the differences from America and England, and that's pretty cool. You can't always do that. So, anyway, stay tuned. We got John E. Wiles from Blindside Thunder coming on at 2 o'clock. Should be a great interview. Y'all have a wonderful day for those that are not going to be joining us.